it's nice to get one, right?
Yeah.
It's nice to get one because we have the Florida one. We're closing Friday, by the way. We'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about the
Yes.
Florida one closing Friday in a second. But it's nice to get a first one because most people are like, oh my gosh, I got my first one and no marketing, no calling, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But validation feels a little better on the second one too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we haven't been in there yet to just make sure that this budget fixes the house, to be fair,
Hmm.
but
Right.
presumably it will. How different does two feel for you now than the first one? Just from I think I can do this, my time per bid, my number of bids to win. If you're kind of low on the bids to win, by the way, you should expect probably more bids to win as we as we go
Hmm.
forward. But presuming I'm getting spoiled by that, how does the validation feel?
It feels great. I mean, it's nice to be able to do this, even though there are times where it feels frustrating because there's just nothing winning. This is the second one in 2 months, and if I could get one a month, that would be awesome because then it feels like, okay, I actually have a steady rate of success.
Yeah. The only thing I would caveat in the timing, be very careful about
Right.
creating success on
Not counting
time.
on that, but
Well, I know,
it
but
feels good.
that's not even where I was going. Where I was going was we want to be careful to say, what is my result over time? Because time doesn't matter, essentially, right?
Hmm.
What is my result based on how many bids that were legitimately going in?
Hmm.
Because it's like, well, how many touchdowns did we score out of the how many plays we ran? Not how many did we
Hmm.
score with how much time came off the clock.
Right,
And
yeah.
the reason I say that's so important is because some people, not you, because you have a consistent path, but when we're managing, what am I making back on my time? Only the
Hmm.
time you're spending bidding and getting better and faster is the time that you can measure against the money you're making. Time on the clock doesn't
Right.
matter. Because some people
Hmm.
can do 10 bids in a week or 10 bids in a month. That's the same month, but a very different chance of winning, right?
Right.
So your habit is going to continue being what was my time spent per bid this week
Hmm.
or 2 weeks or months, however you want to measure that. But you want to be,
Yeah.
that's why the timers are so important, is for
Hmm.
productivity. And then how many bids, really it goes back, right? How many reviews were kind of being done because you don't want to just review a bunch before you can even get a bid. Otherwise, you're reviewing the wrong houses.
Right.
So do we have a reasonable amount of reviews that were worth my time?
Hmm.
X amount became bids,
Hmm.
time per bid, always coming down. So measure
Hmm.
on that, right? Because
Right.
everything else about time in the year is just your schedule and baby and who knows what, right?
Right.
But I think you're going to agree, not to put words in your mouth, that of the time spent on what you did do compared to every other option was
Mhm.
pretty darn low to get some
Oh,
victory.
for
Is
sure.
it
Yeah,
fair
I
to say
mean, my
like that?
brother, as I
Not fair
mentioned, is a real
language?
estate agent, a brand new one, and he's been occasionally like trying to dip his toes into the wholesaling thing, and he's gone nowhere. Meanwhile, here I am, two houses,
You're like, yeah.
and watching 60 other ones.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, good. And that, you think it's fair, right? To bid productivity and time is
hmm.
what we really want to be measuring because we fit more in a given week, right? Sometimes we're
Right.
doing less or doing more because life says so. But well, that's good because that's the validation I want you to feel as
Yeah.
we keep refining. What am I actually looking to measure to keep getting better? What does better mean? It's a reasonable amount of time for what I'm doing to get the wins, and that's where I think we are. I'm feeling really good about your as I know as your partner. When I look at it and say, oh well, this is pretty darn good. I'm just
Yeah.
kind of looking for the outliers at this point, right? Like, well, did the
Hmm.
agent, like, my comments now are a little bit different. Like, well, did the agent really say that? Or did
Hmm.
she really validate this? But that's so I'm just kind of around the edges, making
Yeah,
sure
you're
it's
fine
all
tuning at this point.
in the bowl, right? But it's not like, oh,
Yeah.
you're missing ingredients. Where's this whole thing you missed? Like, where's the salt? It's not like that. It's like,
Hmm.
well, was there enough salt in there? Like, did we sure we got enough in there? Oh, well, actually, some fell on
Right.
the counter, and I need to go pick it. And I need a little bit. I need another half a teaspoon because I didn't. It's that kind of
Right.
stuff is what I feel like.
Yeah.
We're reviewing things back and forth too. I think you got the stuff in there. What I love that you're doing, by the way, and I don't think I even had to tell you to do this. I'm going to use it as an example in the clarity video I do. Is that you're taking the time
Hmm.
to say, here's some comps. Yes, here's the dollars per square foot equals value of the subject or value of the auction property,
Hmm.
just to get that immediate conversion of what the house is
Hmm.
worth based on square feet, right?
Yeah.
But you're looking at, are there other features here? There's not a ton of them, just like this condition and or a feature like a garage or a
Hmm.
basement. Is there a feature here that needs me to adjust that square feet price up or down? Is there something else that would
Yeah.
move that up or down? Because it's not all just square feet, right? In a perfect world, it's
Hmm.
just square feet, multiply, that's the value, right? But
Right.
because there's a little range here, and you've always been very good about being concise enough on
Hmm.
garage or much newer, or this is more updated than that one. I know that takes a few minutes to kind of see it before you can
Yeah,
write
just a
one
little
sentence.
Little snippet, yeah.
But going back to it, it makes it very helpful to look at again on, well, what was the difference? Why was this comp
Mm-hmm.
$20,000 difference again? Well, because they're right here. It's very,
Right.
very good. And as a trainer, it
Mm-hmm.
tells me you're looking at it. Because I still get a lot of people with three comp, not to turn this into a training video, but I get a lot of three
Yeah.
comps or whatever. And I get that. I'm like, well, you did the calculation, but there's no real reason why this one's different than that one. They're just kind of picking one in the
Mm-hmm.
well, we might want to pick one closer to that one versus this one. You can't just pick in the middle.
Right.
That's sloppy averaging. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like, to your credit, I don't think you've ever been a sloppy averager. You've kind of seen
No.
with your buyer hat on, well, I think this was this because, and I think this one was this because, so I'm going to lean closer to that one, not closer to this one.
Mm-hmm.
You're really good at that. And that's what ARVing is for. Yes, we have some discussion about repair or what about this or that. We just kind of have to kind of be a good
Right.
guess and and go check it. And we came
Mm-hmm.
out pretty close on the Lake Carolyn one, and we'll see what this one is. But that ARVing, you're doing a really good job. And that's the confidence I hope you're having in yourself too, and that you're getting quicker
Yep.
and quicker at that assessment, because that can take a long
Mm-hmm.
time if you're not careful. But
Right.
squeezing your decision making in there, is that are you feeling the same way?
Yeah, I think on that part I've been really pretty good about it. And as much as it is for you too, it's for me later.
Hmm.
I've been noticing that sometimes when I'll have that hyperlink to like the Zillow listing or
Hmm.
whatever, I'll go back in later and it's not there. I can't see the internal picture. So if I have something later that says, "Oh, the kitchen was updated, the bathrooms were updated, it has a pool, whatever,"
Hmm.
then I don't need to see it again.
When the less clicking, the better, right? That's why
Yeah,
sometimes I say,
exactly.
hey, please put the link and please put this thing, because if you just glance at it, we can just absorb it like that. Not like, well, let me click again, let me go see, which is why we don't do give me the CMA
Hmm.
link. No, no, no. We're not going to go in again and look at 11 again and figure out which three were the, let's do that right now.
Right.
Figure out what those are and just have it right here. What were the square feet? When was it built? Like, let's just see what the ingredients
Hmm.
are right now. And those glances really save it later. And
Yeah.
so I tell people, even the time to create a bid is one thing, but the review time to bid again and remake a decision could be light years quicker when you've already done it if you laid out the information the right way. But it's hard to explain that until you're doing it, right? But the
Right,
comeback
exactly.
is way quicker. And so some people don't understand why we have some very intentional
Right.
reasons for what data goes in the bid now, because they don't know,
Hmm.
they can't see far enough in the future to like, well, we're going to look at it maybe 9 times again. And so let's just make
Hmm.
that, I'll make the 9 times way quicker to get
Right.
overall time for bid way down before we either won or it went away. That's the time we're looking at, not just
Hmm.
creation time. We want the follow to be much quicker. And that makes a lot more sense now, I think,
Right.
than it would have in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Can you imagine me trying to do a whole like hour video describing that part then when you're not even, you're at this
No,
part
I mean,
now,
I
not
I
down
guess you
there.
could, but you
You,
just it's one of those things you just learn from practice.
Can you see? You see why there's not a 40-hour video vault or something
Hmm.
that says, we're going to do every little thing down all the details that could possibly be in the forest.
Right, exactly.
Let's just get some main rules together and go down the first part of the forest, and we'll talk about what happens next when we get there. Otherwise, it's just not even
Hmm.
absorbable. Not even,
Right, exactly.
yeah. Well, good. Well, I'm glad you're feeling good. Glad we're having some success. Excited to do the Lakeland one. Excited to get
Hmm.
Josh up there working and fixing on it. Excited to get this thing contracted and get over there and see what we've really got. Just because I love winning, super excited
Yeah.
for the one, but I really want the yes ARV and repair is going to work, and then it's just the
Uh-huh.
money, whatever to get to the closing. That's when I'm
Right.
like, okay, the exhale kind of happens
Hmm.
to make it real. Not that doesn't happen very often that we can't, right? So I don't know, 1 in 15 or 1 in 20, something like that.
Hmm.
But you just want to know that it's nothing surprises us, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think on price point here, we're in good shape, even if we do get a little bit of a surprise. But
Yeah.
I think we did some good due diligence on this one.
Mhm. Yeah. I think my it's a double-edged sword on
Sure. Yeah.
having some room, but also being like the 170 versus a 250, because there's only so much
Yeah.
to make on this, and we're going to do all the same kind of management work. But it's
Right.
also not super expensive, good
Hmm.
affordable price range. I mean, there's pros and cons, right? Could
Right.
make it much more
Exactly.
quickly than a 350.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to get this house for $62,000 and sell it for 500,000, but
Oh yeah, yeah, which doesn't happen, right? So we're still at 69, which is great. 60, I'll
hmm.
take 69 all day long on $28,000 profit on a $170,000 house. And if we
Yeah.
can do it quicker, we save. We can do it
Hmm.
quicker, we save. We do a little bit for less money, we save. But we got some room. But
Yeah.
but I'm just I let people get their first one because it just becomes believable. I really
Yep.
like it when they get their second, because it's like, oh, I can see myself doing this each week. I spend amount of time, I get more. And so you
Yep.
kind of got this part down. And now we start learning the back end together on what does it mean to get them
Yeah.
funded and then fixed. What does it mean to
Hmm.
get the right hiring and stuff done? And what does that manage? Because that's the part you're going to need to feel more independent. But you'll get experience with these. Even with me funding, you'll get experience as I've been in the deals, which gives you credit for lenders. You get to say, oh, I've done
Hmm.
two, even though you weren't on the loan
Hmm.
doing them. That's the cool part next.
Right.
So really excited about this one, and I'm glad you are too. Anything else you want to add about just this one on just the looking at it or the number of times we had to bid on it or anything particular
Um,
on this you want to share just for formalizing?
I think the only thing that was kind of different about this one was another win through Hubzu. Both of them have been through Hubzu, oddly enough, but this one took a long time for the seller to get back on my high bids, but we were pretty consistently bidding around 60,000.
Mhm.
And this one I think was 5 rounds before we won it.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, fair
you know,
number.
it's
Yeah,
pretty good. Yeah.
reasonable. It's a reasonable number, right?
Yeah.
We didn't fold to the seller. Oh, the reserve is, and we weren't. Was anybody
Yeah.
afraid? Like, oh, the reserve is this, and if we don't get it this time, we might not get it next time. You might have felt that way.
Yeah.
What was our approach? Just bid again. Our number's our number, right?
Yep.
Our number's our number. We didn't need to pay more than this.
Well, and our MAO too was 65.
Yep.
So I didn't even bid that and we still got it. Ultimately, with the buyer's premium and everything, that's kind of what it comes out to anyway, but
But it's still, but from putting the premium aside is what we look at, right? So
right, exactly. Hmm.
because that number factors in the
Hmm.
premium to total number. So yeah, so we don't need to freak out when they want a little bit more because we
Yep.
need to be where we need to be. And you don't even if somebody outbid us last time, they might outbid us this time because the follow up is the key, right? We did it 5 times. I find all the time if we just keep doing what you're supposed to do, most people just fall away and won't
Yeah,
keep
I've
at it.
noticed that
I can say,
too.
yeah, I'm going to bid again this week. I'm going to bid again and again. I'm not going to miss out. Now, could somebody have swooped in like, oh, I want to pay more? I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying
Hmm.
the process proves true. Most of
Yeah,
the
exactly. Consistency is key because I
consistency
mean,
is key. And
there
it
have been
happens.
several of
What
my
happens?
other properties that I mean have just gone through multiple cycles. They're still on, but I've been outbid on several of these, and then the next round that person
Yes.
doesn't show up again to bid their number
Yes.
again.
Yes. Did you spend any money to win this house?
Nope.
You spent some time. No,
Time, yeah.
no,
No
like, oh,
money.
I hope I get all my ad costs back. Oh my gosh, my overhead, my prop stream, and all that. Just
Yeah.
pay that this month. None of that, right?
No.
So we got none of that. And I hope I don't usually ask until the second deal. But remember,
Hmm.
we're trying my new favorite phrase that I want people to achieve is the feeling of inevitable success.
Hmm.
Probably getting from I'm not sure to probable is one thing because everybody throws out
Hmm.
possible, right? Anything's possible. Let's get to probable. I can probably do this. We win
Hmm.
one. Oh, I can probably. I hope you would agree we're creeping up on inevitable success being a real
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah, it's a fantastic feeling. And I mean, like now that I'm at the point of watching as many properties as I am, I'm like, I'm gonna win another one of these at some point.
Oh, that's the beauty
I'm
of the
gonna
word,
win some, I'm
right?
gonna
It
lose
feels
some, but I
inevitable. It's
will
just going
win
to
some.
happen. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm just agreeing with you. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just the,
So, I
pro- the
mean, I'm
process
super
is going to
excited.
happen.
Today's a really big bid day for me. I've got a lot of realty bid
Yep,
properties that all end their auctions at
yep,
the same time. So
yep, yep.
there's
The
actually
cycles,
7 of them.
the cycles, because you got more. You did
Yeah,
one stop.
yeah.
Remember, let's just tell everybody this again. It's bidding on some we
Hmm.
already prepared for, and it's a
Hmm.
few more getting prepared. It's just a little bit of a mix, but every week there's something going on, and it's just
Yep.
a matter of one popping. But you've I think by now too you've figured out family if you were
Yep.
working work, where do you fit this in? What time of day? You kind of got all that sorted out
Hmm.
now. So yes, you're quick when you sit down and you're much more efficient, but even just when can you sit down? When are you allocating
Right.
time? When are you
Yeah.
pushing other life things away? So even just your life schedule to say, this is my investing now is where we are.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it works out great because I can be looking at properties on the auction sites at night after the kids go to bed. I can be calling agents in the afternoon while the kids are playing, and then at the end of the day when I often get emails back from agents, then I can complete my analysis and send it over to you. And so it's just it's a steady workflow at this point.
Steady and flexible to work with
Yeah, yeah.
a busy mom and all those things. And that's it's
And
just
I'm probably only spending maybe an hour or two a day. It's really nice.
and I'm glad you said that because I think I told you the only complaint I really ever got was, oh, it takes too long without any of my help to have it take less time or figure out the schedule or figure out the. I just don't know how somebody could prematurely. Well, people can do
Hmm.
anything they want, but just I didn't think it was a fair characterization to say, well, let's evaluate when it's all brand new and clunky
Right.
before they got here. Because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like any trade you're going to do that makes you a lot of money, you kind of have to do what you've done successfully is just, I just had to practice enough and get carved away what I shouldn't be doing and emphasize what I should be doing. And
Mm-hmm.
now my schedule, my time per bid, my accuracy, my winning, I'm at the inevitable success phase because
Right.
I was willing to just learn the next thing when I got the first thing learned and not try to act like I got to know it all the first week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember feeling in the same way, like the first couple weeks, just being like, wow, there is so much to absorb here, and I'm trying to get it all right. But then it really was just over time, just like, okay, these are the actual important things. Yeah, the other things are important, but they dance around a little bit. And ultimately it really doesn't take a lot.
Is my driving analogy pretty fair? Where like it's all
Yeah.
everything can kill you early. Like you don't even know where the wiper blades are because it's all just like, oh my gosh. But then it's just like now you're in
Hmm.
the car and you just kind of drive to
Yeah.
the store, right? I
Hmm.
mean, it doesn't feel any different than that. But it just took a little bit to get here because there's moving parts and you don't know what's going to kill you yet.
Yep.
But now we know the rules of the road. We know that person's going to stop at the stop
Hmm.
sign. They're not going to run the yield sign. It all kind of just comes together. But we just had to be in the car long enough together to do
Right.
that, and not on your own, and not
Hmm.
with no repetitions. So I just appreciate
Right.
you echoing it because I just want people to believe me, but they believe
Yeah.
Alexis because you've experienced it. So I love having these. So thanks for having a chance to record that and talk about it together so people can understand. Okay, well, it's been a pleasure to chat again because you're
Yeah.
just doing all the right things, and this is what happens when we do bids and talk and do bids and talk. This is the result. And it's pretty cool. So happy for thanks for being a good apprentice because you just
Well, thank you for being a good mentor.
well, I appreciate that too. We're making some money together, and this is way better money you can see than selling pans and shovels. You see why I like the real
For
estate?
sure.
These are way bigger checks than a couple
Hmm.
grand for a Discord channel, right? I don't need to even mess with that. This is
Right.
where the money is.
Hmm. That's
Very cool.
exactly right.
All right. Thank you, Alexis. Well,
All right. Thank
I'll
you.
update you. You update us.